on Wednesdays. This is where I'm hoping we can call home as we during the actual season of Bears previews. So right now, what we're going to be previewing, Bears versus Raiders. We'll break it all down for you right now. So what is good, everybody? Hope you're all doing great. Hope the week has been going great for all of you. So there's a lot to break down. I personally think that this should be a spot for the Bears to get the dub. So as we always do, we'll break down the offense, defense, special teams, and then also talk about who we think is going to end up winning. But before we get in, since we no longer have the All-22 reviews, I want to just break down a little bit what I saw on the All-22, just to let you all know, just as a mini review. Now, when I was watching it, it's a lot of like what we thought. It's Caleb making some really good passes. And the thing that really did stand out, and I said this, I believe, on the first watch, the instant reactions, just the thing that impressed me the most was just how Caleb stood in the pocket. And he just was very, very good within the pocket. And I know people are going to say, well, the Cowboys, they don't have Micah Parsons. The Cowboys have been getting a lot of pressure. Like, they still were getting pressure with their front four. They have good D tackles. And the defensive ends, Azaraku was good. He's been a good defensive end for them. And there's other things, right? And it's not saying any of them are even near Micah Parsons. It's just saying that you should at least give this defensive line credit and give the Bears offensive line credit as well. Speaking of that, Darnell Wright looked awful. Every offensive lineman, in week 1, it was Jonah Jackson. Week 2, it was Braxton Jones. Week 3, now Darnell Wright ended up injuring his elbow during the game, but still, like, even before that, he didn't look great. Like, he really wasn't blocking awesome. And also the only other thing that I'll kind of talk about, primarily just with the offense, if we can get into the preview show, was Monangai. I love myself some Kyle Monangai, and it really is. It's not just a gag or a gig anymore. He really is just a very consistent running back. The pass blocking is not as good as like a Swift. I will say Swift in the passing game, in the pass blocking game, is a better back than Kyle Monangai by far. He's actually outperformed him significantly, I feel, in that area. But running the football, just stop the whole DJ Moore nonsense, right? And then give it to Monangai. Give it to Monangai instead, just because he was a very consistent runner. He had the same blocking as Swift had. He just falls forward. He just gets the easy yards, gets 4 yards rather than 2. So to me, that's what I like. But let's get right into this. Let's see who we got out there. We got Grizz out there. What's good? Bear down. We got Ron. We got Taco Man. And we got Sports Chicago Style. What is good, all you guys? Bear down. And Ron out there, he's been pissing off Packers and Lions fans. Man, Ron's out here causing all sorts of havoc out there on YouTube. Gotta love it. But man, let's get right into this then. Let's talk a little bit about this game, and let's preview this with the injuries. So to start things off, we have to talk about the Bears injuries, where it looks like it's going to be another week without TJ Edwards. Now, hamstring injury, did not participate today. This is the downside of doing these shows on Wednesday. We don't know what Thursday or Friday is going to have to bring. Personally, for me, I feel very confident with Noah Sewell being out there. Noah Sewell's played well at that linebacker position. TJ Edwards obviously is a good linebacker, but to me, with the hammy, you don't want to. Hammies are very sensitive things. Yet again, not a medical expert, but that's something that to me, I just let him sit out for this. But Kyler Gordon, on the other hand, I think that I would love to see him back. You're talking about someone that makes a big time impact, and I think also you're going to see him, if he does come back, the impact that he would make on this defense is crazy, because we need more chess pieces out there, and that's what Dennis Allen likes to use. And with Kyler Gordon, I think that that's what the Bears need. They need Kyler Gordon to try and spark some life into this defense. So something that is definitely something that we got to monitor. That I'm hoping it's probable, just because they didn't put him on short-term IR. So that's why I'm I'm hopeful, but there's nothing that I've heard to make me even more hopeful, but I wish there was. The other thing too is Grady Jarrett, Colston Loveland, and Darnell Wright all did not participate today. So Grady Jarrett, hopefully, comes back. Nothing seemed crazy after the game, but Colston Loveland with the hip, it does feel like he's going to be back and play for this game. But then as for Darnell Wright, my whole 2 cents on this is this, right? We're going against Max Crosby. If we get what Darnell Wright was in the Dallas Cowboy game, don't play Darnell Wright. Put Theo Benedette out there. This is not a glowing, hey, Theo should be out there. But also, too, you could maybe even put Ozzy Trapillo out there. The thing that you don't want to do, I know Darnell takes pride in being out there and playing through a lot. What we saw at the Dallas game was not pretty. And it was not good. And it's an elbow injury. That is major. And you're going against one of the best defensive ends in the entire league in Max Crosby. To me, Darnell is going to be the person. Darnell and Kyler are the people to definitely watch out for. I just hope that if Darnell plays, that he's at least fairly healthy. Like, don't just try to be macho and just go out there and then then Max Crosby causes havoc. Other people, too, that were limited, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, Jalen Jones. I don't expect them to be missing time, even though Jalen Jones was out last time. But yet again, more of a special teamer than an actual defensive back on this team. But let's see. Jay Grizz saying Kyler and TJ back is huge. Agreed. Taco Man saying our DB room is very thin. Yeah. Squeegee stopping by to say bear down to you too, Squeegee. What's good? And yeah, we'll keep on seeing this. So other things, let's go over to the Raiders, where I got very, very jealous looking at their injury report. It's not as pretty as ours, but still, they only have 4 people. Brock Bowers, full participant. The only person who was not a full participant was Michael Mayer today with a concussion. So something to monitor, because Michael Mayer has been a good tight end. Everyone wants to talk about Brock Bowers. Mayer's kind of like the Cole Kmet in this relationship, where he's still a good tight end. Now, Cole Kmet to me is better than Michael Mayer, but still, like, he's still a good backup tight end. And if he's not able to play, it's not like it's huge, but it's at least one tight end down, and a good solid player at that. And speaking of actually Cole Kmet, I forgot to say this in the film review. To me, I thought Cole Kmet was incredibly impressive. The way that he's blocking, just his utility that he's bringing is, I know it's just one catch and other things like that, but the guy is blocking like crazy. And the assignments that they put him on, if I'm Ben Johnson, like, I'm proud of him. And for me, watching Cole Kmet, Cole's been playing very, very, very well. So for anyone that's out there, don't think that he's not doing stuff. He's contributing a lot to this team, just behind closed doors, so to speak, just in the blocking game and other things like that. And J2K, what's good? Bear down to you too, my friend. Hope all is well. But yeah, let's go through. Also, Raiders don't really have anybody on IR. Like I said, very jealous of the situation that they have. So now let's get into the actual thing that we want to talk about. Let's break down the opponent and let's talk about this matchup. So coming in, the Bears are going out to Las Vegas. So I don't know if anyone else is going out to Las Vegas. I wish I could, but not going to be out there. I know that there's so many different Bears shows and Bears fans that are going out there. What I love is we really make Las Vegas another home for the Bears. And there's going to be more Bears fans out there than Raiders fans, which you got to absolutely love. But looking at the matchup right now, ESPN's Football Power Index has the Bears as the 18th best team versus the Raiders at 23rd best team. DVOA has the Bears as the 20th best team, while the Raiders as the 30th best team. So, yet again, last week, all those ratings said that the Bears were a bottom feeder, and then the Dallas Cowboys were middle of the road. So now the tables have kind of flipped. So now, let's break down, though, this Bears offense. So like I said, I really liked what I saw out of Caleb Williams a lot. So what I want to talk about is this Bears offense. So first off, let's talk about just where they stack up. Bears 15th in EPA per play versus the Raiders, allowing the 25th 25th EPA per play defense. FPI, Bears are 17th and Raiders are the 14th defense, which I think a little shocking for FPI, for the Football Power Index. But really, all that you need to know, Bears, solid offense, Raiders, below average type of defense. But I also want to talk a little bit about the blocking, because the blocking is something that us Bears fans, we really do care about, because we want it to be really, really good. Now, I have a couple little stats out there that I'm going to throw out. So ESPN loves the Bears offensive line. Some of you might have seen these stats kind of float around. They have the Bears as the 5th best in their pass block win rate stat. Drew Dahlman actually is the 5th best in run block win rate among interior linemen. And Joe Thuney was like 8th in pass block win rate. And Braxton Jones has now cracked the top 20 as number 19 in pass block win rate, according to ESPN. Bears overall offensive line, number 2 in run block win rate. Now, do I believe that? Right? I think that there's different elements, right, inside of all this. I believe that their pass block win rate is like overall with a lot of these things. Honestly, I know that some people don't like PFF or just say no PFF. I actually think that the PFF ones are a little more accurate. Bears are 11th in pass block grade and 13th in run block grade, which I'm like, okay, that seems more accurate. That seems like if I told you 11th and 13th for the blocking, you'd be like, yeah, this seems about right. Like, not awful. But yeah, not top 5 in both metrics, right? That's just a little optimistic out there, I'd say. So, but I will say, this offense, this entire Bears offense is really starting to come together. And two, seeing how they were running the football, the Dallas defense is no slouch against the run, right? The coverage was awful, but the running game, they still have a good run defense for the Dallas Cowboys. And what I was seeing was good blocking, good holes. Now, we weren't able to capitalize on a lot of that stuff. And unfortunately, like, I bring back Kyle Monungai's negative 8-yard carry, that dragged down his stats. And I saw a lot of holes that the Bears could be running through, and just a lot of good steps in the right direction when it comes down to this running game. And like we were saying too, this running game has been good. Now, on the flip side, it has the 9th highest stuff rate overall. So I think that kind of tells the story, right? You can easily grab a stat and say, right, someone can grab the stat and say, Bears are number 2 on ESPN's run block win rate. But we have to pair it up with different things. It doesn't tell the whole story. That's why I like to grab from NFL Next Gen Stats that Bears have the 9th highest stuff rate, where that seems fair because Bears have had some good blocking, but then all of a sudden somebody comes through and just absolutely obliterates Swift, and there's nothing that Swift can do. That's the problem, is that they're starting to kind of figure it out, but they're still very high when it comes down to the stuff rate department. But still, 4th highest rush yards before contact and 31st in rush yards after contact. So there's still that stat that Swift and other running backs just simply aren't doing anything after they get contacted. And then 2, they've only faced the 20th highest stack boxes and only 11. And also, I just want to point this out too, there's only 11 teams with positive EPA. But see, here's the thing. With this running game, I would love to see this get going. This is not a phenomenal run stuffing team. And just looking at them, like, this is the PFF has them graded as the 26th run defense and 28th in run stop win rate. This defense, yes, Max Crosby is the main one that you have to be watching out for. But yet again, I'll go back to the Dallas team. The Dallas defensive line is better overall, right? If you talk about the group of people, I would take Ezeraku over Kuntz. I would take, Fowler over, let me just pull up that entire defensive line, over Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson's been bad. Jermaine Pratt, I would take people from the Cowboys defensive line over them. They just have Max Crosby. And I think that is the thing that we really do have to just emphasize is that it's Crosby's team, it's Crosby's defense. That is the guy that is on this defensive line. I would just run the opposite way, right? Whatever side Max Crosby is on, run the opposite way, and you'll probably be able to find some success. That's my strategy if we're trying to run the football. But like I said before, just I would try to factor in Monangai a little bit more. If you're going to use DJ Moore, right? I just want to call this out. If they want to use DJ Moore, run some passes out of the sets that DJ Moore's a running back. Throw them off that way. Or don't even have a running back out there when DJ Moore is then that running back to really just kind of throw them off. Where you have DJ as the running back and then you motion him out wide and you put him in the slot. Now he's matched up on a linebacker. Or have him in the backfield, run a pass play, do a little Texas route over the middle. He'll be wide open, right? Use him as a mismatch because he's not a running back. There was multiple plays that he had huge opportunities to get yards and just didn't do the right thing. So to me, that's my point about the running game. Let me see what y'all are saying out here with the stats. Yeah, J2K saying it feels like the beginning of a great offense. Amen. We need to get that run game going. And yeah, let's see. Yep. Lots of good stuff. What PFF is tripping on that run block grade. Yeah, I will say I like the PFF one. I think that they're yet again, I'm not watching everybody's tape across the the entire NFL with everything, but yeah, the running back, I am one where running backs, I'm always more so on the side of running backs don't matter, but you just need a solid one. I think that's the biggest thing is you just need an efficient running back right now. And Swift just ain't doing it for me for real. So let's see. Yep. Yeah. I like what J2K is saying with DJ. Yeah. Running some flats, some wheel routes, something big time. And Squeegee's saying Wright blocked Crosby with one arm last year. He did. That is actually very true. So yeah, Wright needs to get back on the right foot. No pun intended. Actually, slight pun intended with that. Slight dad joke. But let's get into the passing game and let's talk a little bit more about this. So from the passing game perspective, like I said, Bears have been very good and Caleb has been great. And I just want to throw this out there, right? With all stats, we have to look at both sides of this. Caleb right now is top 10 in QBR, top 10 in points added among quarterbacks, top 10 in EPA per play among quarterbacks, top 10 in also deep ball grade according to PFF, and also top 10 grade when running the play action. All that you need to know, Caleb has been playing like a top 10 quarterback, right? That's not a bold statement. Also, he has the 6th highest PFF grade when kept clean, and also the 6th highest PFF grade when not blitzed. So when the offensive line gives him time, he's throwing dimes. He's just absolutely efficient. He's playing great, right? He's playing great ball. But, right, we have to talk about the flip side. He's 30th out of 31st among quarterbacks in expected completion over, or completion percentage over expected at a minus 8.7%. What does that mean? It means he knows where he's going with the ball. He's putting the ball in good spots, but then he's also missing throws. And we've said this for the past 3 weeks. It's been the common story. He's missing throws. Does it mean rally up the panic wagons and start freaking out? No, it doesn't. It just means, yet again, there's areas of opportunity. And I also want to call this out too. He's been throwing for over 63%. So if you factor in the completion percentage over expected at minus 8.7, if he hits those throws, he's over the Ben Johnson mark of 70%. Just throwing that out there, right? So it's on target. He just needs to hit those targets a little bit more. And still also too, he has the 5th worst pass grade when he's under pressure. But his running grade is really good because, like I said, the way he's been operating in the pocket, very, very impressive. Like that is something that I know people want to talk about the Dallas game and like, hey, everyone was open, because everyone was open. The way that he operated in the pocket was something that was noticeable for over the past 3 weeks with the progression, but also when looking back at last year as well. So let's continue talking. And also, yes, I see Squeegee out there. NFC Offensive Player of the Week, Caleb Williams, right? There was no doubt. There was no doubt that he was going to be it. But yeah, you got to love it. The other thing I want to throw out there too, right? I got more stats for you. Also, when Caleb completes it, if you want hats off to the wide receivers, Caleb has the most separation on the targets that he targets. So when he throws the football, his receiver has on average 4.3 yards of separation. 4.3. That's insane. That's just hats off to Ben Johnson for creating this separation, but also hats off to like your Rome Odunze's, Zacchaeus, Moores. You have good weapons that can create separation and a great system that can also create that separation as well. And last week we went against absolute dog water defenders for the Dallas Cowboys. So that did factor into it. But all this to say, Caleb Williams is going to be able to have success passing the football. He's been the offense. This passing game has been what we've been turning to. And when you look at this defense, you're going to be able to throw it against them. Eric Stokes, Caillou Blue Kelly, Holmes, their other slot cornerback, Darnay Holmes. The cornerbacks are not great. You're going to be able to throw on them. Polamalu, not Troy Polamalu, but their safety, you'll be able to hit some really good passes on them. And I just really feel that this team is going to be able to pass the ball all over this Raiders team. Now, the biggest thing, right? Who is your matchup to watch out for? So let me know down in the comments, what matchup are you watching out for when it's this Bears offense versus this Raiders defense? Because I'll tell you, to me, this is easy. And it might be everybody's matchup to watch out for. It's going to be Crosby versus whoever is the right tackle, which I'm expecting probably Darnell Wright. Maybe it's Ozzie Trapillo. Maybe it's, Theo Benedette. Whoever that is going to be the matchup to watch out for. And I feel like with Ben Johnson, this is one of those things when you have a player like Max Crosby, even though Crosby's not having as dominant of a year that he's been normally, accustomed to me, I think that he's going to be he's the person, he's the superstar that you just game plan for. And then if, Jeremy Chin all of a sudden becomes the person that wrecks the game, so be it. Just don't allow Max Crosby to wreck the game for you. But really, when you look at this defense, Bears should be able to have some good success against this defense. So, and also I agree with J2K, having Kmet, or, if Loveland can't go, right? I would put Durham Smythe. Like literally, if Loveland can't go, I would just bring out Smythe and be like, all right, Smythe, we're not going to use you in the passing game whatsoever. That's Cole's job. We'll just have you on whatever side Crosby's on, and you'll just help out, right? Or just help out at the right side. And then we'll see if, and we'll just, light the fire underneath Braxton and say, hey, because Brad Biggs actually reported that, for those that didn't hear, that the Bears did talk to Braxton. That is like, if you don't step up, you're going to be benched. And he stepped up. Like, he really did. He looked great. Or he looked really, really good. I wasn't going to say great. Really, really good last week. So I think he was actually one of PFF's highest graded players for the Bears too. So to me, I think that that's going to be the matchup for me to watch out for. But the thing that I really want to see, right? I know that they're going to be able to pass on him. I know they're going to be able to do different things. But to me, the other thing that I would love to see, I'd love to see this run game going. I really do. I feel like we're getting there. Like watching the tape from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. That's what's so exciting, is it's just getting better. And yet again, I'll still say it. For those that have joined the live show late, Dallas had a solid run defense. Like that's the one thing that Matt Eberflus was able to do actually for a year. And then after that, just completely blew it and everything was garbage. But they've been a solid run defense team throughout the season, and the Bears, it looked like we had opportunities. So hopefully we can take advantage this week as well. But now let's flip on over to this defensive preview. So the Bears defensive preview, let me flip this over. Awesome. So the Bears defensive preview, this is where it's, we'll see, right? How confident are we in this Bears defense? I haven't started a poll yet. I'm going to do this. How confident are we in this Bears defense? I'm genuinely curious. Very confident. Confident. Not confident. Or meh. Actually, no, meh. I'm going to do not confident and we suck. I just want to, I'm curious, like just where are we at, right? I'm not putting the middle one because we're going to be decisive on this. We either are very confident, or how do we feel about this Bears defense, right? I'm genuinely curious because I feel confident in what we have with the offense, right? And I've said this a bunch. Caleb's a good quarterback. We have a good passing game. Run offense, not good. The defense. The thing with the defense is week 1, we went against the Minnesota Vikings. And in that Minnesota Vikings game, we were really good for 3 quarters. Then we were bad for 1 quarter. And quite frankly, I just feel like I don't trust the J.J. McCarthy-led offense of Minnesota. And also people usually say whatever happens week 1, you can kind of throw it out. And then week 2, you add the hyped up Lions, where to me, I throw that game out because you're never going to have somebody that motivated because they literally got just destroyed by the Green Bay Packers. Everyone wrote them off as their garbage team, and they came back just insanely motivated to just whoop up on this Bears defense. And then you go against the Cowboys. The Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb, and we gave up a lot of yards, but then we turned the ball over, right? So you could say we only allowed 14 points, or you could look at the stats or the numbers and say, well, we gave up a lot of yards. So that's where I feel right now. Yet again, I'm not super confident I know where we're at, but I am starting to put us in that below average tier just because we don't have Jalen Johnson. We don't have Kyler Gordon. If Gordon's back and maybe we sign a veteran, right? Maybe James Bradbury's looking good and we bring him in. And then now that secondary is looking a little bit better. And then Austin Booker comes back and he's giving you a little bit of plus play for the defensive end spot, right? Then I think, yeah, you're getting better. And you're talking about a good system, a good, Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator. So that's where I really want to watch this game because I really want to see what this defense has to offer. Because with the Raiders, this is what I could tell you about this Raiders offense. Let's flip over this Raiders offense and talk about them a little bit. Still, sorry for the YouTube watchers, still getting used to my buttons. It's been like 2 weeks and I still like, okay, which button is which to hide and show and other things like that. But when you look at this offense, the story of this is their offensive line cannot block. So their offensive line cannot block for the run. They have not been good at all with this. Jackson Powers Johnson, he should be out there this week. He should be out there this week at the right guard spot, which is huge for them because Alex Kappa has been awful at that right guard spot. But even when Jackson Powers Johnson has been in at the right guard, they still have not been good at run blocking. They are 32nd EPA per play running the football, and they're also 32nd also in run block win rate as well. So all that you got to know about this team is that they just simply cannot block. Or actually, let me pull this up. Yep, 32nd in run block win rate, 16th in pass block win rate, according to ESPN. The Raiders, according to PFF, 22nd in overall run blocking. I think a lot of that, though, has to do with Kolton Miller. Kolton Miller, it's kind of like the opposite of their defense, where Max Crosby is the one good piece on that. Right now, the one good piece on this offensive line has been Kolton Miller. He's PFF's second highest graded offensive tackle this year, and he's been good. He was one of those that whenever we talk about offensive linemen, I always point to him because for the first 2 years, he was bad. Like, not like, okay, he's okay. He was bad for 2 years, and then it clicked. His third year just came on and then was one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL. He's been phenomenally good. But then this line has been just trying to figure it out. Like I said, the running game, they have not been able to get it going because even though they have Ashton Jeanty, you need an offensive line to be able to block, and they just haven't been able to do that. DJ Glaze has taken a step back at right tackle. Jackson Powers-Johnson struggled last year, and they shifted him over to guard, just has not been clicking. And then Meredith, their center, good year last year, taking a little bit of a step back, still trying to figure things out right now. And Dylan Parham, similar story as well. And they remind me a lot of the Bears. Like, they really do, where you have this team, I wish we had the stud left tackle, right? We have a good right tackle, but no stud left tackle like they do. But they're still just trying to figure it out. And if the Bears, who come in with their run stop win rate 22nd, and if the Bears are looking to stop the run, they potentially can against this team that has not been able to run the football well with Ashton Jeanty. But still, Jeanty is able to break tackles. He's still a dangerous running back. We just have not been able to see it. As someone who owns Ashton Jeanty in both of my fantasy leagues, unfortunately, he has not been doing anything. So the run game, I feel a little bit more confident about. I feel good with us being able to defend the run. And still, I feel like we're taking steps in the right direction, but I want to see, I don't think, no matter what happens with the run defense, I think this is where we can't take stock in that for this game. But that's been our most consistent, like against the run, we've been bad. Like, against Dallas, against Detroit, we've been bad against the run. The pass, that's where I have kind of more question marks with it. So next thing is the pass defense, where if you look at what they've been able to do in the passing department, it's actually been pretty good. Geno Smith's been a good quarterback for them. PFF has him graded as the 19th best. And quite frankly, he's just been solid. He's just been a good quarterback for them. And Tucker, their wide receiver, has been going off. Speaking of fantasy football, he's like the number one waiver wire pickup right now. Jakobi Meyers is looking good. And Thornton, their outside wide receiver, is a deep threat. So, and obviously Brock Bowers is Brock Bowers, and Michael Mayer is still a solid tight end. So right now they're getting a lot of production out of these weapons. It's going to be a battle for these defensive backs to keep up. And that's where, hey, Jakobi Meyers, even though he's a big body, he still lines up a lot in the slot for the Raiders because Tucker's their other outside wide receiver. Thornton, like I said before, more of a deep threat. That's why it's very key. If we can get Kyler Gordon back, I'd love to see him line up against Jakobi Meyers to try and lock down one of their best targets. Also, too, Bowers was banged up in week 1. Continued to look a little banged up last week, but maybe might be more back to Bowers, but even a banged up Bowers is still one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL. So if we're looking at matchups, like I said, defensive backs are going to have their hands full, and you really have to just look at Thornton to make sure that he doesn't take the top off of this defense. The main matchups, though, that I'm watching for is with this line. Like I said, left tackle is going to be locked down. So I actually think that the Bears match up very, very well on this interior. Because, hey, Dayo Odeyingbo, you can chill against Miller. You can just do that, right? You can just go against him. I'm fine with that. But then I'm looking at the defensive line. I'm hoping Gervon Dexter can really take advantage. Gervon Dexter has quietly been very dominant up the middle, and trying to get get pressures on the quarterback. He's just kind of struggled more. So for those that are looking at my the PFF grades and everything, Gervon Dexter is 58th out of 120 defensive tackles. Let me see if I can actually pull up his pass. It's crazy. It's mainly because they're saying, and rightfully so, he actually has not been good against the run at all this year. He's been more of a pass rusher. Let me pull this up. He has the 4th highest pass rush grade at 84.5 among D tackles, and he has a 42.1 run defense grade, which is 112th. He hasn't been good against the run, so that checks out. So I feel like this should be a good opportunity. Sweat going against DJ Glaze, Dexter going against an injured Jackson Powers Johnson or Alex Kappa, whoever it might be, that right-hand side, they should be able to generate a lot of pressure. Now, the other thing too, speaking of pressure, if the Bears want to, they have not been blitzing a lot. But one of the reasons why I might want to see more blitzes is just because Ashton Jeanty has been terrible at picking up pass blocks and picking up any sort of rushers. He does not know how to do it. And if it's third down and Ashton Jeanty's back there, I'm audibling, calling a blitz, doing something just to try, because he has not been able to pick up the blitz. We've said this before, right? When the Bears drafted Roschon Johnson, people were amazed at how good he was because they're not supposed to be able to pick up the blitzes. Ashton Jeanty really is that. As a rookie, cannot pick up the blitz. So to me, I would love to see just little exotic blitzes with Ashton Jeanty back there just to try and pick up the steam a little bit for that rookie running back to try and pick up the blocks. So with that, my camera just shut off for some odd reason. So camera's back and it is off. That's lovely. So I will actually, it might be back now. We'll see. So here we go. We'll see if it shuts off again. But yeah, is Rowe still injured? No. Roschon Johnson's actually not injured right now. He's actually healthy. He's just only playing special teams. So they have him off right now, unfortunately. So he is playing special teams. And yes, Drex, drink because the camera has taken off. The camera said it's too hot. It literally said it's too hot, and it just died out on me. So that is absolutely lovely. But hey, we'll continue going through this. Y'all don't have to see me. And audio people are like, yeah, we never see him every day. So we'll keep on trudging through all this. So let me just ask this question. What defense matchup are you looking out for the most? I think I already answered mine. Mine really is going to be Gervon Dexter against Jackson Powers Johnson. I just think up the middle, if he's able to bring that pressure, bring that up in the face of their quarterback, that is going to just really, really, really cause some havoc. That is my matchup that I am watching out for. So now, let's continue to talk a little bit about some special teams. So we'll break down the special teams real quick. I just realized because I'm like, yeah, if I switch over here, you just get to see this is brought to you by Elgato. But if I switch over back to the other side, special teams review, I just hope that we just don't make mistakes. Don't make stupid mistakes. And don't have them block a punt. One thing that I'd like to see is they kind of did the little like Aussie rule where they punted it off to the side, took a couple little steps, and then were able to try and punt it that way. I kind of like that. I thought it was an interesting way to punt. It's just, can we please stop getting people around that punter? So that's the thing that I would just like to see. But hey, continue doing what you're doing. We had a very good week last week from the special teams side. So that's the special teams review. Let's keep this going and talk about who has the edge. So I think that if you're listening, you know who has the edge with the different pieces. Because if we're talking about the Bears offense against this defense, honestly, I just think that the offense overall will have this edge. Even though that our run offense has been bad, I still like what we might be able to do. Like I'm feeling cautiously optimistic that because we're slowly starting to get it figured out. Do I think it's completely figured out this week? No, I'm not going to go that bold, but I think it's going to look better and better. And maybe after the bye week, hopefully it looks fixed, aka 4 yards a carry, right? Anything like that. So something a little bit more like that. But that's my hope. But I think that overall the edge, I'm giving it to the Bears offense. And as crazy as it sounds, if we flip over to the defense, I will give the run defense to us just because there's no worse running offense than them. So by default, I'll give it to us. And then the pass defense, I'll actually our pass defense versus their passing offense, I'll give it to them. But I think overall, I think we have the edge. And also too, the Chicago Bears also are going to have more fans because we travel very well. We have a lot of people going out there. I feel like we're going to have more fans out there. I give us the edge overall against the Raiders. So now it is time for the last segment, the game predictions. So drop your game predictions down below. Let me know what y'all think. I'm going to try and turn my camera back on again. It's probably going to work for a little bit. Nope, it is not wanting to. So, camera still off for right now. Gotta love it. But let's talk about game predictions. Drop your game predictions down below in the chat. So we got Joe, what's good, my friend, saying Bears 28, Raiders 24. We got Drax out there as well. What is good? Hey, obviously you said drink. Well, let's see what y'all are saying. So 28-24, and also, as you give these bold predictions, score predictions, and also bold prediction, what do we think? J2K saying 34-6, Bears win. Squeegee saying 34-10, Bears win. We got 27-10 Bears. We're feeling pretty darn good. And this is also, people are saying that this is an even matchup. The line was, I think it was Raiders were favorites, then Bears were favorites. Right now, ESPN is giving the Bears a 50.9% chance of winning. So interesting. Let's see. I am going to just look at the Raiders just to see some of their previous scores. So week 1 against the Patriots, it was 20-13. They ended up winning. Then it was 20-9 against the Chargers, and they lost. And then against the Commanders, 41-24. So they have not let up so many points, but I mean, we all saw what Mariota was able to do with against them with the Commanders, getting 41 points. So to me, and then, you know, when you look at their points, 13 for the Patriots, 9 against the Chargers. The offense just has not been going. They got 24 against the Commanders. You know, you could also say part of that was, hey, maybe we shouldn't be passing it or maybe we shouldn't be running it every single down. I'm going to say Bears. Bears. I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to say Bears 31. I'm going to say, yeah, Bears get 31 points, and I'm jotting this down. Bears 31. I'm going to say Raiders. I could see I'm feeling confident, right? I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling like the Bears could do really, really well against them. I'm going to say Raiders 20. It's a big swing, but I feel right now Raiders coming off of 2 losses in a row. Bears are going to have a lot of fans there, and I just, you know, Geno's going to be able to get some points. I think Geno's going to be able to pass it very well. I'm just feeling good. Just feeling good, right? And yeah, go into get the big win, go back into the bye week, just have a very, very good time with that. So bold predictions though. Oh man, part of me wants to go with the run game with this, but you know what? I'm going to say this. We're going to have my bold prediction, right? I got to go bold with it. I'm going to say it's the second game in a row that the Bears do not allow a sack, right? How about that? Could you imagine? No sacks, 2 games in a row heading into the bye. That would be amazing. Coming off of a 2-game winning streak, I would absolutely love that. Absolutely adore that. So that's my bold take. That's my bold take for the game. And if you're watching this later on, drop your bold takes down in the comments as well so that we can get those out there and see what y'all have to say about that. But also, let me switch this up. Here we go. There we go. I'll be able to see you all before I say goodbye. So ends up working. I see this. In Ben we trust. Amen. And let me see what else y'all are saying out there too. Drax saying he's so bad at predictions. Got to be positive. Bears 41, Raiders 21. Love that. I'd love that. Ron with 48-10, Squeegee 34-10. We're all feeling good. We're all riding the high. I don't know about y'all. You have a good week of work when the Bears win. It feels so good. And also just all the stats about Caleb. Let's keep this going. And after the game, we will be live at 7:30 that night Central Time to just break down the Chicago Bears hopeful victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you're watching out there on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe out there also on YouTube. And also, just for those that are curious out there, we ended the poll. 50% are not confident with this Bears defense. The other 50% are very confident or just generally confident. So I have to finish off on that. Y'all have a great rest of your week. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and you know that she's a